Weilà raga! How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another lesson in our series of Zero to Hero Italian grammar, where we'll be looking at the most basic concepts and working our way up to the most advanced. Now, I haven't been saying it in my past videos, but I do mention it in the description box below. These lessons are very similar to what I do in my live group lessons that I give every week on Zoom. The only difference is I type instead of handwrite, and I have people actually in the room with me instead of me just talking to the camera. So if you're ever interested in learning more about my group lessons, check out the link down below in the description, or just head on over to weilatom.com. Now, without further ado, let's get into the topic of today's video, which is how to use the verb piacere. Let's go straight on over to the digital whiteboard. So today, we're going to be covering how to use piacere in Italian. Now, piacere is a very, very useful verb. Let's also zoom in a little, make this nice and large. Piacere is very useful. It is the verb that we use to say to like. However, I'm just going to put that in quotes like this because the verb actually means to be pleasing. And this is going to make a lot of sense when we start talking about liking people. But I am going to be using this language a lot throughout the lesson. You could also use it as to please, and it could be to be pleasurable. But I'm going to keep it just to please, to be pleasing, and then finally to like. So it works a little differently than how we do it in English. Let's take a look at some basics. For example, mi piace is how you say I like. What does it actually mean? It is pleasing to me. That's what it actually means. So I'm going to put that just like this. What mi piace actually means. Okay. So we translate it as I like, but really what's going on here is we have a verb in the third person singular. This means it is pleasing. He, she, or it is pleasing. You could think of it as he, she, or it is likable. That is another way of putting it. And who is he, she, or it likable to? To me. So basically, we're using indirect object pronouns with this verb because something is pleasing to someone. So let's write that down so we can make it a little bit clearer, okay? So when you see mi piace, work backwards from the verb. Okay, from the verb. We have piace means he, she, or it is pleasing. If you like, you can also say he, she, or it is likable. You could also say he, she, or it pleases. That's the definition I like the least, but I include it anyway in case you find it helpful. But I'm not going to be writing it here. So I just have it there up above. So piace means he, she, or it is pleasing. That is the translation I really like. I feel it works very nicely. Then we have mi is just an indirect object pronoun. That means, here in this situation, to me. So when working backwards, he, she, or it is pleasing to me. That's what that me does. Now this explains why, if you like more than one thing, we change the form of piace to piacciono. Now this is one of the first things that we learn when we're first studying Italian. We say mi piace means I like one thing. So, for example, mi piace l'Italia. That means I like Italy. Mi piace l'Italia. Working backwards, what do we have? Italy is pleasing to me. That's what that means backwards. So I'm going to write that here. Let's put our pen back. So literally, all right, so actually, I'll do it like really literally. Sometimes that helps. So like straight up literally, word for word, going from the start of the sentence to the end. To me is pleasing Italy. That's every single word in order. Mi is to me. Piace is pleasing. L'Italia is Italy. But instead we work backwards. Italy is pleasing to me. Okay? Actually, it means Italy is pleasing to me. Another way of putting it, we're going to say the English way, the most common way to say it in our language is, I like Italy. So what I'm trying to do here is basically get us out of the habit of just looking at mi piace as I like. Because yes, that's how we say it in English. So it's a correct translation because when we translate, we're often looking for getting across the message in the most authentic way. That's the most authentic way of saying it in English. Very nice. So now, let's move on. And I wanted to show you mi piacciono. So mi piacciono. So if you like multiple things, you say mi piacciono. It means I like multiple things. Okay. And we're going to make sense of why exactly we do that. For example, if you said mi piacciono, still using, places, mi piacciono Roma e Napoli. This means I like Rome and Naples. What does it actually mean when we go from back to front? Naples and Rome are pleasing. They are pleasing. This is the loro conjugation of the verb. Who are they pleasing to? Oops. To me. They are pleasing to me. Nice. So we're going to write that down as well. So this is Naples and Rome are pleasing to me. What we always say, or the other way, so let's do the same thing. Let's go literal, actual, English. So I think I went first to the actual. That's okay. All right. So we did actual, and now the English. I like Rome and Naples. Cool. And now if I wanted to say anyone else likes Rome or Naples, or anyone else likes Italy, you just change the indirect object pronoun. So let's take a look at all of those indirect object pronouns. Of course, we have videos here on the channel on those topics if you'd like to see them in more depth. So indirect object pronouns, which are always used with piacere, we have mi, ti, gli, le, ci, vi, gli again. Mi means a me, in other words, to me. Ti is a te, to you. Gli, a lui, to him. Le, a lei, to her. Ci, a noi, which means to us. Vi, a voi, to you guys, or you all. E gli again is a loro. Just depending on context, we would know whether you're referring to gli as in to him, le as in to, gli as in to them, a loro. Very good. So we could take any one of these pronouns, or you could even use these right here to say that someone likes something, something is pleasing to someone. And you are going to need these in certain situations, this form using the a. And I'm going to show you in just a moment how come. So let's just do something really quick right here. So let's say, ti piace l'Italia? That means, do you like Italy? You could respond by saying sì. Mi piace. Yes, I like it. You could also say, a lui piace l'Italia? You could at that point just say a lui piace, because if it's a continuing conversation, we know who we're referring to. You could say a lui piace l'Italia, and to respond, you can say sì. Gli piace molto. So, both of these mean, does he like Italy? Either a lui or gli. Both of the options we have here. Both work perfectly fine. Now, why was I saying sometimes you'll have to use that a? That's if you're using someone's name. If you're using someone's name, we're obviously not using one of these pronouns, because pronouns take the place of a name or of a noun, for example. So if I say, a Marco piace l'Italia, that means Marco likes Italy. If I now want to replace a Marco with a pronoun, well, what do I do for to him? We use gli, or we could use a lui, whichever one I feel like using. They both mean exactly the same thing. You could say a lui piace, or you could also say gli piace. Whichever one you like. These mean the same thing. It means that he likes Italy in this case. He likes something. Italy is pleasing to him. Cool, right? And if Marco liked a few things, we would say a Marco piacciono Roma e Napoli. And same thing here. I would use a lui or gli before piacciono if I want to replace Marco with a pronoun, with an indirect object pronoun. I could use gli or I could use a lui, which would mean he likes Rome and Naples. So that is basically how we use piacere in the present tense for saying that someone likes something. What we're going to do, though, now is conjugate the verb piacere in all of its present tense forms. And that is how we're going to be able to talk about liking people. Because now, as you can see, we're just talking about liking things. You could say, a Marco piace Maria. You could say that. That's fine. And it means Marco likes Maria. Because working our way backwards, what does it literally mean? Maria is pleasing to Marco. That's fine. You can also view it that way. You could also say, a Marco piacciono I suoi amici. What does that mean? Marco likes his friends. And obviously the backwards to front, his friends are pleasing to Marco, is what that means backwards to front. So that's also cool. We could do that. We could do that just as well. But yet again, it's always third person, right? Piace and piacciono is always third person. Now we want to talk about, well, what about if someone likes me? Or what about if I like you? What about if they like them? Let's take a look at that. All right. So we're going to conjugate piacere in the present tense. Fantastico. Io piacio. Tu piaci. Lui, lei, piace, which we've been seeing a lot in this lesson. Noi piacciamo. Voi piacete. Loro piacciono, which we've also been seeing a lot. How would I translate these? Io piaccio is I am pleasing. It does not mean I like. It could mean I'm likable, but it means I am pleasing. Because with piacere, the conjugation, the form of piacere, always refers to who is pleasing. Tu piaci is you are pleasing. Just as we were saying before, lui le piace, he or she, and it can also be used for it, is pleasing, because both people and objects have gender in Italian. Noi piacciamo, we are pleasing. Voi piacete? You all are pleasing. It also just means you are pleasing, but refers to a group of people. I like saying you all, because we don't have a pronoun for you all in English. That is like set. Loro piacciono is they are pleasing. So if I just said, in a random example, piaccio, just on its own, I said as an exclamation, piaccio. What does that mean on its own? I am likable. I am pleasing. You know, a nice, good, positive affirmation for you. Okay? I am pleasing. This also means I am likable. You know? These positive mantras we're working at right now. I am pleasing. I am likable. Piaccio. Io piaccio. Okay, well, that's great. But we're going to use now the indirect object pronouns to tell us who finds you pleasing. Who finds you likable? Or, the other way around, who are you pleasing to? Who are you likable to? In other words, who likes you? That's why we use the indirect object pronouns. So, if I took piaccio, I am pleasing, and I want to say I like myself. Well, it's basically just going to be like a reflexive here. We say mi piaccio. This means I am pleasing to myself. I am pleasing, and that a me means to me or to myself. I like myself is what that then means in everyday English. I like myself. I like me. There we have it. Well, what about if you like me? Okay, so then I am pleasing to you. Ti piaccio. That means I am pleasing to you, because that's what that ti represents. A te. I am pleasing to you. In other words, you like me. There you go. You could also, if you want, translate piaccio to like me. You could put it that way. Piaccio. Ti prego, piaccio. You know, I beg you, like me. It could work. Yeah, I beg you, like me. Ti prego, piaccio. It feels a little funny, but I think you can get away with that in Italian. So, ti prego, just as a side note. Ti prego means I beg you. I beg you. That's funny. Ti prego, piaccio. Because I'm trying to just define multiple ways of making sense of this for you. Anyway, let's move on. What if he likes me? Gli piaccio. What if she likes me? Le piaccio. What if we as a group like me? Ci piaccio. You know, you walk into a room, you're like, we like me, guys, right? We like me. Doesn't 100% work perfectly, but you get the idea. What if you all like me? Vi piaccio. And what if they like me? Just use the indirect object pronoun for to them, because I am pleasing to them. And there you have it. This is how to say everyone likes me, including myself, including us, including you, including everybody. Everyone is liking me. The moment I want to change it to liking you, what do I have to do? Well, take the form of piacere, the tu form. So tu piaci, and just put whatever object pronoun you want before it to say who is the person that finds you pleasing. So if I say, let's do all the pronouns, okay? Mi piaci. That is, you are pleasing to me. If I say ti piaci, just like a reflexive verb there, you are pleasing to you or to yourself. You would say gli piaci for you're pleasing to him. Le piaci, you are pleasing to her. Ci piaci, you're pleasing to us. Vi piaci, you are pleasing to you all. And then finally, gli piaci, you are pleasing to them. And then once you have that like foundational structure, then just translate it into everyday English. This right here means, or let me highlight it instead. This in everyday English means I like you. This, you like yourself. He likes you. She likes you. We like you. All of you like you. And they like you. Then you can translate it into everyday English. Those are the steps that I would take. So let's just put in a few names, and then what we'll do is wrap up the lesson here. We will do piacere in the passato prossimo in another lesson, because I don't want this lesson to be too long. So let's just use some people's names here. Remember, with people's names, I always forget to change back to the pen. There we go. With people's names, sorry for the shorthand, use the preposition a. So we say, for example, a, let's say Maria, a Maria piaccio. So let's work this out. A Maria piaccio. Remember, work backwards to front. Piaccio is the io form. That means I am the thing that's pleasing. I am likable. So I am pleasing to who? To Maria. Okay. I am pleasing or likable, put that in as well if you'd like, to Maria. What if more than one person likes me? A Maria e Alex piaccio. So, work backwards to front. I am pleasing to whom? To Maria and Alex. So, I am pleasing to Maria and Alex. Now translate it to everyday English. Maria and Alex like me because I am the object. So you could think of piacere. Perhaps this is like a little breakthrough we just had here, guys. Piacere is not only the verb, but it is the direct object. I think we just did it, guys. Towards even the end of the video, I think we just did it. I like that. Okay, let's call this a pro tip. Pro tip. Think of the conjugation or conjugated form, let's say. Think of the conjugated form of piacere as being both the verb and direct object. Because I am pleasing, and I am pleasing to who? I am the object of affection to who? Or to whom? To those people. Now, if I take a Maria e Alex and I want to say they like someone else, let me show you right here. A Maria e Alex piaci. This is the tu conjugation. That means they like you. If I said a Maria e Alex piace, that means it is pleasing to Maria and Alex. Maybe it's l'Italia. Maybe they like Italy. So, a Maria e Alex piace l'Italia. What about if we say, a Maria e Alex piacciamo? That means we like Maria and Alex. What if it's piacete? That's you guys are pleasing to Maria and Alex. And piacciono, they are pleasing to Maria and Alex. So Maria and Alex like this group of people that we're not a part of, so we're calling them they. And there you have it. So I'm going to leave it here. We will revisit piacere in another lesson. I'd like to do a lesson where we go over the passato prossimo. It is very similar to everything we've been doing. This is the foundation. This is the groundwork. Definitely rewatch this video a couple times. Make sure your handwriting notes, all of those things really help. Let me know if you have any questions down below in the comments section. And I'm really happy we got to piacere today. I usually teach piacere pretty far along in my Italian program, so that's what I'm also doing here on YouTube, because I feel that it's important to have covered a lot of Italian before you really get into the nitty-gritty of piacere. You can always teach someone mi piace, mi piacciono, that's enough so that they can have a basic conversation with someone. But once you start talking about liking people, that's when we roll up the sleeves. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys, thanks for tuning in and checking out this video. Be sure to check out everything we've done. Stay tuned for what's to come. And always remember to spread the love. Alla prossima, ragazzi. Ciao.